Ad Astra is directed by James Gray and follows astronaut Roy McBride, played by Brad Pitt here, who tries to figure out what happened to his father. So the first thing I want to say about this movie is it goes down in history as one of the prettiest movies I've ever seen. If you like really pretty space movies, this is probably for you. But this film is also slow burn. You probably won't enjoy that if you're not into slow burn movies that have a real atmosphere about them, and that's just kind of what they're going for, and I felt like this definitely falls into that category. Not to say that I was ever bored in the film. I actually thought the pacing for it was perfect in my opinion, and I actually enjoyed every second of it. I never felt like I had to leave or anything like that, or I was ready to fall asleep. It's not a boring movie, it's just a slow burn, which I know it's, they might go hand in hand for a lot of people, but for me, I just wanted a slow burning space film, and that's what I got, and I was really happy about it. This film definitely knows how to wear its influences on its sleeve. It reminds me of 2001: A Space Odyssey mixed with Star Wars Episode 4: New Hope. That's kind of the vibe. I would even throw maybe a little bit of Blade Runner in there. I enjoyed how those elements mesh together because it still feels like it's its own movie. The story is still very original, and I enjoyed it because of that. You could just tell where James Gray got a lot of his influence, though, that being said. I enjoyed the action sequences in this movie very much. When they're there, they are at top-notch level. Tommy Lee Jones is also in this movie, and I thought he was fantastic. I know that a lot of people have said that he's just playing basic Tommy Lee Jones, and there is a lot of that, but I think when you really get down to the core of his character in this film, he starts to play something a little bit different, and I enjoyed that about his character quite a bit, and the performance in it. Brad Pitt also does a fantastic job in this movie. It's a little bit different for a Brad Pitt role. It's a very subdued version of Brad Pitt, much different than what we had gotten in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood earlier this year. So much like 2001: A Space Odyssey, there's going to be things that are left open to interpretation, and I'm okay with most of that. But there is like this feeling that I had throughout this film that it was trying to hold something major back from me, and it almost felt a little pretentious. And I've just felt like this story could have been taken a little more at face value, or should have been taken a little more at face value, but I really felt like it can't be on the same hand, and I actually didn't like that in this case. I love that in 2001: A Space Odyssey when things are left open to interpretation, but here, because of the story and because of the way it plays, I just felt like they could have given a little bit more when it comes to the information that you're being handed. That's not to say I didn't love this movie. I actually really loved this movie, and I thought it was really refreshing in a lot of ways to see a space movie that's actually quite different than a lot of other space movies that you'll see, and I think that that's what I admire about it, and I hope that's what audiences admire about it, on top of the fact that it's visually stunning and it's a space movie that's a slow burn, which a lot of people are really into, myself included. Not as slow of a burn as First Man, but still a fairly slow burn. There's a lot more action than a lot of other slow burning space movies, so that should hold your interest, and again, you get really engrossed into the story, but you are going to feel like you're missing something, like the film is trying to not let you in on a secret that only it knows, and that could be a bummer, because this story would just be so much better if you could take it all at face value. But that's my biggest issue with it. But there are certain things that are left open, which I'm like okay with, and then others I'm like, what am I missing here? I should have a little bit more. But that really is minority of the time. Most of the story can be taken at face value, and I think you might appreciate it just because of that, and I hope you do. I love this movie. I'm actually going to go ahead and give this one an A. Guys, this has been my review of Ad Astra. I've been Don Martino. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button below. Hit the like button below. Leave some comments in the feedback section. And I will see you guys next time.